Hello everyone! Today's book is simply a miracle cure for low blood pressure. After her lifelong husband is reborn, the first thing he wants to do is actually get back his white moonlight princess. And even has the audacity to say, "Let's be siblings from now on." Anyone else might cry, make a scene, and threaten suicide. But our female lead simply takes the 1,000 taels of gold as breakup fee and walks away. Let's see how our female lead turns this terrible hand into a royal flush. Quishu and I were the model couple that everyone in the capital envied. But I never expected that before his death. He would say to me, "Shangyi gave you my life, and I have no regrets." If only I had accepted His Majesty's arranged marriage back then, would Shuang have lived a little longer? If there is a next life. Shuang was the informal name of the late princess. Only then did I realize that behind the study door, I was never allowed to enter hung a painting. And the woman in the painting was none other than Rong Shuang. Written on the painting were the words, "In this life, I've done right by my mother, my wife, and my sovereign. But I alone have wronged you. I only wish that in the next life, I can give you a lifetime of deep affection." In this life reborn, Kushu acknowledged me as his sister. From now on, let's address each other as siblings. I'll protect you for the rest of your life. All right, Kushu. Then I wish you get what you want in this life. A medical clinic situated in the west of the capital, with peach trees planted in the back courtyard, their blossoms drifting and falling, turning to dust in the soil when the wind blows. "Miss, we got it." "Got what?" Xiao Tao ran back in from outside with delight, hurriedly pulling me out to see. The young master passed. He even got first place, so you can rest easy now. First place? I blinked my eyes, still a bit stunned, unable to believe the scene before me. It wasn't a lifeless, deathly still room. It was a medical clinic bustling with people coming and going, with the scent of medicinal herbs drifting everywhere. I hadn't been to this place in decades. Looking at my own hands, they weren't withered and aged like dried wood either. Fair and firm, the palms and fingertips were rosy, looking full of vitality. With trembling hands, I touched from the left side of my face to my chin and neck smooth and tender. "Miss, what is wrong?" Xiao Tao's round, delicate face was full of worry, but she had clearly died from exhaustion and illness in the 10th year after I married Quishu. Her face had been haggard when she died. Me fingers curled. This was rebirth. The young master must be on his way back now. I bet he'll come propose to you the very day he passes the exam. The master and madam are waiting at home too. They must already know this good news. The young master is so amazing passing as top scholar, and you have such good judgment. All the women in the capital are envious of you now. Success in the imperial examination, wedding night with flowers and candles. In my previous life, it really was like this. My mind was in a daze, before I could even snap out of the shock of being reborn. I was already pulled by Xiao Tao to the street corner. Quishu wore a red brocade robe, sitting on horseback with a black gauze hat on his head. He had just been granted an official position. The common people lining both sides of the street watched, their customs simple and open, with some women even throwing flowers and handkerchiefs. It truly was the proud spectacle of spring breezes delight the galloping horse, viewing all of Chang'an's flowers in a single day. Quishu accepted none of them. He had the appearance of a scholar, his looks first, rate in their aloofness. Yet his manner was gentle as jade, always maintaining his virtue and keeping away from women. Even after we married in my previous life, I was the only one in the household. There were no other concubines. Even when women admired him, he never thought of taking concubines. He kept himself pure, upright, honest, and true to his word. This allowed someone like me, from such an ordinary family background, to be the prime minister's wife for many years, with never any conflicts in the inner household. Quishu smiled and apologized to the young lady who threw her handkerchief. "I already have a girl I like. Marriage is decided by parents. I dare not decide for myself." Everyone laughed. saying whose family had such good judgment, that today's top scholar doesn't forget his roots and keeps his promises. Xiao Tao's voice rang clear. It is my young lady, Miss, the young master truly does like you. From now on, if you are good to Xiao Tao, I'll be happy. She didn't notice that not far away, Quishu's expression paused slightly, his jade, white face showing some awkwardness. I smiled faintly at Xiao Tao, her eyes full of joy at seeing the clouds part and the sun emerge for me. In my past life, it was the same. She married into the Kui family with me, unwilling to marry herself, helping me manage the household, day after day wearing herself out worrying over those Kui family clansmen. She was only in her 20s, yet already looked utterly haggard. I blinked my eyes, looking at Xiao Tao in the prime of her youth, tucking the stray hair at her temples behind her ear. Xiao Tao, let's go back and wait. It is pretty crowded out here. Xiao Tao obediently let me hold her hand. Before we could leave, we were pushed about by the crowd. Turns out the top scholar had dismounted and was walking this way, and the crowd was making way for him. Somebody muttered. He is not even that good looking. Whose young lady is this anyway? Why is she dressed so plainly? Quishu stepped forward, his dark eyes looking at me. My heart trembled slightly. The last time we met, we were both already old and decrepit. It had only been a short while ago, yet it felt like a lifetime had passed. Xiao Tao, Master Qiar, you here to propose marriage? Her voice was lively and cheerful. I hadn't stopped her in time. Quishu looked troubled. Miss Wen, I don't think we ever clearly discussed marriage. I am also very grateful for all the care your father and mother have shown me over the years. This is 1,000 taels of gold bestowed by His Majesty. This 1,000 taels of gold will absolutely ensure that you, your father, and mother can live very well. I have never forgotten the Wen family's kindness in keeping me fed and warm. From now on, my expression turned slightly bitter. My hand gripping Xiao Tao froze, and mocking laughter arose from the surrounding crowd. Turns out she is leveraging a favor to seek repayment, throwing herself at him on her own initiative, and still being so delusional, speaking as if she is his wife. Xiao Tao had a fiery and straightforward temperament. Hearing these words, she understood that Quishu was trying to make me lose face, and attempting to weasel out of the marriage engagement with sophistry. Quishu, you ungrateful wretch, unworthy of being the top scholar. Quishu and I had known each other since we were very young. We both grew up in Jiangling, where he and his mother depended on each other for survival. Kui's father was one of the few scholars in the village, but he died early. Unable to survive in their home, the mother and son left a village under Jiangling Prefecture. Me family was fairly well off in Jiangling. We had a medical clinic left by grandfather, and though father wasn't skilled in medicine, I liked it. Later I persuaded father to open a restaurant as well, which brought in quite considerable income. At first, Quishu worked as a helper in our family's medical clinic, running errands and helping out. But father, seeing that Quishu could read and do arithmetic, had him work under himself as an apprentice. His family circumstances were poor, but his family background was clean. Father and mother felt sorry for his family's difficulties and took care of him in many matters. Kui's mother was also brought into our household by my parents, so they could help her out a bit. Quishu had no money, but he loved reading and understood the importance of learning. During the day he worked at the shop, and at night he copied books for others. At night, the small figure lit by a flickering little lamp was truly pitiable. I saw that he was earnest, diligent, and exceptionally intelligent, capable of writing essays. So I begged father to let him attend school together with me. I was older than him, and in daily life, I also considered myself his older sister, looking after him. He was thin, dressed plainly, yet frequently praised by the teachers. He wasn't good with words, and didn't mingle with crowds. At the same time, this also made him disliked by people at the academy. One day I saw him covered in dirt, his school uniform kicked with several footprints, the cuffs torn and deformed by others, even tattered. I was the one who paid for this school uniform for him. He blushed with shame over this, copying books day and night, hawking for people on the street, and only managed to pay back the money in full after receiving his wages at the end of the month. I was filled with anger for a moment, furious to the heavens. I've always been mild-mannered and easy to talk to. People at the academy had never seen me charge in with a stick and severely teach those bullies a lesson. Kuishu was protected behind me as I said, "Ah, Shu, from now on, whoever gives you attitude, whoever bullies you, I'll stand up for you." Mouths aren't just for eating and talking, they can also be used to complain. Kuishu's eyes were brimming with tears then, holding my hand. "Sister Xiang Yi, I'll definitely become very capable in the future and give you a better life." I nodded, saying I believed him. I believe in Ashu. Spring went and autumn came. Peaches ripened and blossomed again. Kuishu truly became remarkable, winning top honors in all 3 imperial examinations. Mother Kui also liked me, and when he passed the imperial examination as the top scholar, he proposed to me. On our wedding day, even the emperor's most favored Princess Qingshuang came. I only learned later that after he entered the Hanlin Academy, Her Highness the Princess was quite fond of him. The always arrogant and domineering Rong Shuang retracted her claws in front of him, and even learned to act gentle. Princess Qingshuang went to the Hanlin Academy every day, always bringing things with her. Either pastries she made herself or pouches she personally sewed. I knew nothing of all this. Later on, she even asked His Majesty to grant them a marriage. Kuishu publicly refused in the Great Hall, saying, "I already have a wife at home. Who is this humble subject's benefactor? The princess is of noble imperial blood with an exalted status. I, Shu, am of lowly status and fear we would be ill-matched." I was very happy to hear this, and everyone in the capital praised him. At that time, I still didn't know that Kuishu's heart had wavered. Speaking of my previous life, I suppose when he refused the imperial marriage grant with the princess, he never imagined his path to success would be so difficult. Kuishu entered officialdom and needed to grease palms. But I had never learned such things. I had studied medicine since childhood and only had a superficial understanding of matters in officialdom. So I closed the clinic and opened a shop instead, selling all kinds of rouge, powder, silk, and satin. Even though we had enough money, the 2 of us had no connections whatsoever. In officialdom, we inevitably faced cold shoulders from others. Kuishu was also poor with words and often felt gloomy. So I comforted him, and whenever I had time, I'd go to banquets held by noble ladies and madams, or visit others to increase the Kui family's visibility. Later, the Kui family became wealthier and wealthier, and Kuishu's career path became smoother and smoother. But he sighed many times, saying how difficult his official career was. Once, he even got drunk in his study, and when I brought him sobering soup, I saw the words on his desk, "Sorrow rises from within, regrets abound." That was when Rong Shuang had promoted some minor official with just 1 word. Later, Rong Shuang passed away, reportedly dying from melancholy. His Majesty grieved deeply and gave her a grand burial befitting an empress. During the national mourning period, Kuishu went to Hanshan Temple outside the capital and didn't return for several nights. Hanshan Temple was famous for its efficacy. In front of the temple were 99 steps, requiring one to kneel with each step and kowtow every 2 steps. Only after reaching the temple would one's wish be heard by the heavens. I didn't take this matter to heart, or rather, I didn't have time to take it to heart. At that time, I was managing household affairs, and matters regarding the shops were tedious. With Kuishu becoming prime minister, I couldn't frequently show my face coming in and out of the estate, so I busied myself socializing with the nobles of the capital. I wanted to ensure Kuishu had no worries in his official career. He didn't disappoint me either. I was the only one in the estate's inner court, and at banquets, we were a loving couple. We looked so happy to outsiders, as if there were no flaws at all. But before he left, he said, Shangyi, I gave you my whole life, and I have no regrets. If I had accepted His Majesty's arranged marriage back then, would Shuang have lived a little longer? If there is a next life. If there is a next life. What then? He lay in bed, his voice faint. I couldn't hear clearly, but when I was sorting through his belongings, I actually discovered, behind the study he never let me enter was a painting, and the woman in it was none other than Rong Shuang. Written on the painting were these words. In this life I've done right by my mother, my wife, and my sovereign. Only wronged you. I only wish that in the next life, I can give you a lifetime of deep affection. Kui Shu, you rejected His Majesty's arranged marriage and didn't end up with the princess. You regret it, don't you? Thinking about it now, everything from the past was Kui Shu living with regret. When Her Highness the Princess promoted that minor official, he felt bitter about it, so he got drunk. When Her Highness the Princess passed away, he went to Hanshan Temple. What he prayed for must have been to continue his bond with Her Highness in this life. In the previous life, I had no regrets. I thought you were the same. Turns out I was just leveraging kindness for repayment. And it was just Mother Kui pressuring you. Out of obligation for kindness. Out of filial duty. That is why Kui Shu married me. I froze. Kui Shu's face appeared clearly before my eyes. Only then did I realize, Kui Shu had been reborn too. He didn't want to live the same life as before. He wanted to live a different kind of life. The Kui family. You bastard, say that again. You said you won't marry Shangyi? Mother Kui's tone was severe. Do you think Shangyi waited for you all these years for what? Wasn't it because you wanted to establish your career before starting a family? Back then, you kept saying that after you passed the exam, you would give Shangyi a good life. You would protect her for life. Now you say you won't marry her. What is she supposed to do? Mother Kui sat down, closed her eyes for a moment. Her voice as gentle and slow as always, yet revealing incomprehension and blame. You've been clinging to her since you were little. You think I don't know, but I am your mother. I know my own son better than anyone. I know you've been a child who doesn't like to talk since young, but very gifted in studies. When your father was still around, he said you'd have great achievements in the future, so I didn't dare neglect your education. I was afraid your future would be delayed by me, so I brought you from the village to here. The moment you saw Shangyi you were delighted. Working as an apprentice at the clinic you'd always busy yourself around her, following behind her. Whatever she said was final. Her words came first. Do you still remember when she was frightened by a yellow dog and couldn't sleep night after night? You were panicked and more worried than even her own parents. Mother Kui found this memory amusing, climbing to her window in the middle of the night to keep her company and talk. Mother Kui saw it all clearly, but she had never spoken of it. Now that Kui Shu has topped the imperial examination, he is about to abandon his promise. How can she face the Wen family? Kui's mother. Shuwon must not be ungrateful. Kui Shu frowned. He remembered everything from the past, but in his heart he didn't think it was love. At most it was just deep affection between children. It didn't amount to much. Mother, matters of marriage cannot be forced. He believed his mother simply didn't understand that even if he were with Wen Shangyi in the future, they would only get along as family. He recalled his previous life indeed. He and Wen Shangyi had treated each other with courtesy and respect for their entire lives. But that kind of life was too unbearably mediocre, too ordinary. After one night passed, Kui's mother asked him once more. Kui Shu, I am asking you, have you truly decided not to marry Shangyi? No matter how good other women out there are, they can't compare to her. Kui Shu, I have truly decided. Fine, there will be absolutely no room for regret later. Kui Shu, Mother, I will not regret the decision I've made. Just like in his previous life when he married Wen Shangyi, though there were many regrets, he didn't regret it. Kui Shu ignored the strange feeling in his heart. In this life, he was only waiting for His Majesty to bestow a marriage. I am the one who wronged Shangyi. Uncle Auntie, here is 1,000 taels of gold. I will continue to protect Shangyi in the future, treating her only as an older sister. I can even see her off at her wedding. What kind of nonsense bullshit are you spouting? You wronged my elder sister, and you want to just turn the page. I heard voices from the front hall and quickened my pace. My younger brother Wen Siyuan had been practicing martial arts all along, and had a fiery temperament. He couldn't stand seeing me wronged. Last night when he heard about what happened to me, he was so angry that he gave Quishu a severe beating on the spot. Quishu's face was now pale with a tinge of green. And he was also somewhat angry. No one could stop them even if they tried. Present at the scene were Mother Kui, my mother and father, and also Xiao Tao, but not a single person could stop them. You scholars really know how to twist the truth. What childhood affection. I think you understand it all too well. You've delayed my elder sister, and now you are acting all high and mighty, saying you can solve everything with money. Dream on. My mother Kaishu, you say you never explicitly discussed marriage with Xiang Yi, but was all your affection in the past fake. My father. Back then I let you stay with Xiang Yi because I thought you were honest. But I never expected you'd also be someone who abandons their benefactor. Paptui Quishu. I am not an ungrateful person. I will also regard the Wen family as my own family. I know the kindness the Wen family has shown me. From now on, Wen Shangyi will be like my elder sister. Ino, I agree. Quishu, since this is what you want, then I'll grant your wish. You want to change to a different life, then I'll also change how I live. I walked in without looking at him once, and pulled my parents over to sit down. Father! Mother! There is no need to be angry. I already thought this through yesterday. See, Yuan, you vented your anger, but from now on you must not be impulsive and reckless. Qi Shu is now a court official. Do you still want to go to battle and fight the enemy or not? Seeing that my expression was unaffected, my parents became even more worried. Shang Yi. Quishu's expression froze slightly, with fresh wounds at the corner of his mouth, looking somewhat comical. Aside from very early on when he would be bullied, in his decades in officialdom since then, he had never been this disheveled. This is truly absurd. I actually saw grievance in Quishu's eyes when he looked at me. Quishu, since both families are here, and we're not strangers to each other, I'll accept this 1,000 taels of gold. Whether you want to treat me as a sister or a benefactor is up to you. However, I won't treat you as a younger brother. I have a younger brother, and I don't need you to carry me out on my wedding day. I spoke with implication, looking at the wound on the corner of his mouth. Wen Siyuan lifted his chin, proud and pleased. This matter isn't complicated either. It is just childhood jokes, not to be taken seriously. Let the 1,000 taels of gold be payment for the favor. You can go back now. Quishu's expression stiffened slightly, momentarily not understanding why I would agree so easily. Seeing they still hadn't left, I smiled. Surely Lord Kui isn't reluctant to part with the gold? He paused, squeezing 2 words through his teeth. I am not. I once asked him why he wouldn't call me elder sister. At that time Quishu had already grown into a young man, with a blue hair ribbon tying his hair. It was clearly a time of youthful exuberance. Yet he rarely smiled. Only when he saw me would his facial expressions become a bit more animated. So I teased him. Ah Shu, do you dislike me? Kui Shu's pupils trembled slightly, showing helplessness. His ear tips turned red as he mumbled. No, I would never feel disgust towards you, Shangyi. All right, I was just teasing you. Suddenly, he became serious. Miss Wen, I Kui Shu, am fond of you. In the future, when I achieve success in the imperial examinations, I will definitely come to marry you. At that time, peach blossoms were falling all around, and the pink petals blurred my vision. I smiled and answered him. Okay, so I waited for him to achieve success in the examinations. Waited until I was 20 years old. Now he says he didn't understand feelings back then, that he should have treated me as a sister, but confused familial love with romantic love. Turns out his feelings for me were only sibling affection all along. Mother Kui wanted to say something more, but I walked over and said, Auntie, to parents, children are like a person's legs and arms. The arm can't twist the thigh. It is the same for you. You can't make Kui Shu change his mind. Since that is the case, why make things ugly? After they left, my parents asked me if I'd really let it go. I nodded. Mom, Dad, I know you are worried about my marriage, but now we have a lot of money. Even if we don't eat or drink in the future, we can still live well. Besides, who knows, there might be a good marriage opportunity. And anyway, you are so anxious to marry me off. Do you find me annoying? My mom, what are you talking about? With you at home, your dad and I couldn't be happier. Your dad and I don't have any other great abilities, but supporting you is no problem at all. My father, that is right. Don't overthink it from now on. Just focus on treating patients and saving lives at the clinic, study medicine, and do what you love. It is best that we cut ties with the Kui family. When Siyuan thought for a moment, I curse him to never have a good life. I smiled faintly, gently, patted his head, and suddenly thought of something. I told Xiao Tao to return the things in the room to Quishu. What I didn't know was, Quishu hadn't gone far yet. His heart trembled slightly as he stepped through the gate of the Wen family, and only then did it feel real. But there was a piercing pain of separation in his chest, and his mind felt dazed for a few moments. How could it be so easy? Wen Shangyi actually didn't pester him, didn't cry or make a scene. The Wen family was just like her, simply accepting the money and leaving it at that. Hearing Xiao Tao's voice, his eyes finally focused. He had been thinking that Wen Shangyi liked him so much, that Wen Shangyi valued their relationship so deeply, it couldn't be possible that she would. Lord Kui, here is your hairpin back. Xiao Tao glared at him indignantly, paid respects to Kui's mother, then forcefully threw the wooden hairpin in her hand at Kui Shu. Miss said, since we've cut ties, things that shouldn't be kept should be returned. Kui Shu's brows furrowed tightly. The hairpin fell from his body. He didn't catch it, and the wooden hairpin broke directly on the ground into two pieces. The crisp sound of the wooden hairpin hitting the ground entered Kui Shu's ears. He crouched down to pick up the two pieces of the wooden hairpin. She has even returned this. His voice was faint, as if speaking to Xiao Tao, but even more so to himself. Sisters, spam satisfying in the chat. Does this scumbag Kui Shu think the female lead would cry her heart out begging him not to leave? Or try to keep him with a face full of sorrow? Lil Mao, what the hell are men so narcissistic about? 1,000 tales of gold smells way better. Last life I slaved away for you like an ox or horse paving your path to success. So what is wrong with taking some emotional damage compensation from you this life? Not just taking the money, but also smashing that broken wooden hairpin you gave me right in your face until it snaps in two. This kind of scumbag who wants it both ways and lives off women while acting tough should just get kicked straight out of the female lead's life. Seeing his current grievance and sense of alienation. All I want to say is, stop adding drama for yourself. Hurry up and exit the stage with your broken wood. This wooden hairpin was carved by Quishu for me, a gift for my coming of-age ceremony. I wore it my entire previous life. When I wasn't wearing it, I kept it carefully stored in a box. Tied hair as husband and wife, loving each other without doubt. Now that I've returned the hairpin to him, this matter is finally settled. Quishu looked dazed and absent, gripping the wooden hairpin in his palm. Mother Kui glanced at him, sighed, and left. Miss, there is trouble. Xiao Tao came running over in a hurry. Someone's causing a disturbance at the medical clinic. It is that young master he from before? He Shangyan? Yes, he is causing trouble at the clinic entrance, saying you are now an old maid that nobody wants, and that you are incompetent at treating patients. Right now there are people gathered at the clinic entrance ruining your reputation? Only then did I remember this guy. He Shangyan was originally a patient of mine. After recovering, he tried to win my favor, but I told him I was already betrothed, and he looked down on me for it. Isn't he just a poor scholar? What kind of life can he give you? A poor scholar making you live a poor life? Wen Shangyi, if you are with me, what good things can't you eat? Would you still need to work at a clinic? Later, I simply ignored him, and with Siyuan staying by my side every day, he eventually gave up. How come he is now reverting to his old ways, and even getting worse? There was no such thing in my previous life. Perhaps my rebirth has stirred up changes. I sat in front of the mirror, touching the left side of my cheek, with a guess forming in my heart. By the time I arrived, the situation had only gotten more serious, with many people gathered at the entrance. This is the quack. My family member came here for treatment, and as soon as they got home, they vomited terribly, completely useless, and now they're still lying in bed unable to get up. I say it is just a scam for money. A woman with a weak young man, lying on a straw mat, pale and powerless. The woman was lying on the ground crying and shouting, and onlookers, seeing this, all cursed. What kind of clinic is this? What kind of doctor? The clinic's assistant quickly went forward to check, but was pushed away by someone. Move aside, who knows what you are up to, trying to make him even worse. I saw He Shangyan standing at the door loudly condemning. Smash it all for me. You people actually dare to take medicine from someone like this. You actually trust someone like this to treat you. I had a stomachache before and got several prescriptions here that didn't work. Then when I went to see another doctor, turns out her family did it on purpose, prescribing you extra medicine and charging you more money. Summoning exclaimed loudly in surprise. Isn't this the Miss Wen who said she had a marriage agreement with the top scholar? Turns out she is a con artist, specifically cheating us common folk out of our money. Summoning, who had never come here for treatment, said, "What is a young lady doing showing her face in public like this? Simply corrupting public morals, claiming to be the top scholar's wife. She should look at what kind of person she is. No, she has even caused a death. That can't be right. Fengchun Medical Hall's medicines are all very good, and the prices are affordable. Dr. Wen inside speaks nicely. My family is poor, and she treated me before without charging money. The medicine cured the illness right away. That is her tricking you. You probably weren't even sick." The person speaking up for Fengchun Medical Hall tried to refute, but was cursed back at. "Everyone, I am a doctor at Fengchun Medical Hall. I've been treating people here for quite some time. You can all verify how many people have recovered. What is happening today? I imagine you want to know the truth of the matter. Let the authorities decide everything, but right now, this patient's life is what is most important." Fortunately, not everyone believed every rumor they heard, and the crowd quieted down. I said, "Let me take a look first. If something happens to the person, no one can take responsibility." The woman suddenly stood up. "It is all because of you. You took my family member's life. I'll make you pay the price." He Shangyan, Shangyi, look at the situation now. You've been abandoned by that guy surnamed Kui. He is heartless. You might as well be with me instead. Now that guy surnamed Kui won't protect you either. He moved closer to me, one hand gripping my wrist tightly. I frowned, unable to break free. "Young Master He, what are you doing?" Kui Shu's voice came through. He pulled He Shangyan away and asked if I was all right. I temporarily breathed a sigh of relief. Just as I was about to turn around to check on the patient, guards separated the crowd. Oh my, so lively here. It was the second young master of the Duke Protector's household, Xiao Luoheng. Previously, I had treated the Duke Protector's old madam for her illness. The old lady was grateful to me, and had even mentioned wanting to recognize me as her granddaughter. Move aside. Move aside. Can't you see that our Dr. Wen needs to treat the patient?" Xiao Luoheng was a famous dandy in the capital, always flamboyant and unrestrained. "Do you people know that this Dr. Wen has treated the old madam? Her medical skills are miraculous and can bring the dying back to life. Those who look down on her are looking down on my family's old madam's judgment. Aren't they?" Xiao Luoheng, dressed in luxurious clothing, had the guards maintain order. He pulled someone over and said, This person is Dr. Yan. That is right, the renowned physician known throughout the land. If you don't trust Dr. Wen's medical skills, you can have this Dr. Yan verify them. Also, I've already reported this to the authorities. No one who caused trouble today is leaving. I was stunned for a moment, not expecting the Xiao family to send someone, and so timely and thorough at that. Thank you, second young master. Xiao Luoheng winked at me. It was my elder brother's idea. Xiao Jinyu? He nodded somewhat hesitantly, after examining the patient's condition. I frowned slightly. Has he eaten? The woman's eyes flickered, stammering. He has. These past few days he has been sick. I've been letting him eat the good stuff, and I only eat what is left. My gaze swept over her for a moment, and she became anxious and uneasy. After I whispered a few words to Xiao Tao, he said, "The person is fine. It is just a drug reaction. Keep him here for observation for a few days." Xiao Tao immediately restrained the woman. The woman tried to struggle and curse at me, but Xiao Tao shouted loudly, "Shut up! A fraud hired from who knows where to put on an act. How dare you use an innocent person's life to extort money? Speak quickly. Who put you up to this? This is a serious crime of extortion. I am handing you over to the authorities right now." The woman, completely subdued by Xiao Tao, trembled. I'll talk. Xiao Luoheng on the side watched Xiao Tao's entire sequence of actions, secretly alarmed. I looked at He Shangyan, who was being held down by the guards, and said, "Young master He, I don't care who conspired with you. You brought people to smash my shop and tarnish my reputation. I won't let this matter rest." He Shangyan didn't have the guts to openly cause trouble in the capital. Even the fact that Kyushu is on good terms with my family is known to everyone. Since Kyushu hasn't taken sides yet, no one would create friction with the new top scholar. However, now I am going to send all these people to the authorities. Kyushu, who was beside me, grabbed me and said, "Shangyi, you've seen it yourself. Your reputation is indeed my fault, and I will take responsibility," I said leisurely. "May I ask how Lord Kui will take responsibility? After I marry my principal wife, I'll bring you into the household. After he marries the princess, he'll bring me in as a concubine?" My heart skipped a beat. "Kui Shu, how can you say something so outrageous? I really misjudged you before." My expression turned cold. "Kui Shu, don't come here anymore in the future. Or when family's temple is too small to accommodate a great Buddha like you, especially the people around you. Kishu, Xiangyi, you are already 20. Who else would marry you now? Who says no one will marry her? This young master's family is willing." Xiao Luoheng suddenly popped up next to us, and after perking up his ears to listen, he loudly refuted, then squeezed himself between Kishu and me. He said with a grin, "My brother isn't married yet. My brother is willing. He is so willing." Kishu frowned. "Second young master Xiao, you'd better not say such things. Everyone knows Grand Tutor Xiao has no interest in marriage." Xiao Luoheng looked at him. "What is it to you? Get lost." He pushed Kishu aside, then had the guards take him away. "Didn't you hear that Dr. Wen doesn't like you? You are still here being an eyesore." Miss Xiangyi could tell at first glance that this Kishu is no good. He is not as good looking as my big brother, and his character is even worse. He is totally not good enough for you. I found it amusing and asked, "Then may I ask, young Master Xiao, who is good enough for me?" "Of course it is my big brother," he blurted out. "Look, my brother's pretty decent too. He is definitely capable, even though the capital always spreads rumors that he is not interested in women. Those are all just rumors. My brother, older and unmarried, good looking, good official position, good abilities, good family background. What do you think?" I put my hand to my forehead. Does Xiao Jinyu know his little brother is going around advertising his marriage prospects? How does the Grand Tutor know about my situation and even send someone over? Isn't he away from the capital recently? Xiao Luoheng? It is just a coincidence. I was hanging out around here, and then I heard them talking about it. So, anyway, this is for you. If you run into any trouble, just show this. I still have things to do, so I'll leave first." He put the thing down and left. I took a look. It was an imperially bestowed jade pendant with the character you carved on it. An imperially bestowed item. For my protection. I raised my eyes to look at the roof. There should be someone up there. Sent by the Duke of Zhengguo's manor, or by Xiao Jinyu protection, or surveillance. Honestly speaking, surveillance isn't very likely. If it is protection, then my feeling from my previous life was right. Xiao Jinyu has feelings for me. But how could that be? We've never really had much to do with each other, except for those days when I was treating the old madam, and stayed briefly at the Duke of Zhengguo's manor. Xiao Jinyu is a meticulous person. He showed his brilliance at a young age and was known as a genius. Later. At 16, he became the top scholar, entered the cabinet, and was appointed minister of the Court of Judicial Review. Now at 26. He is the grand tutor to the crown prince and still unmarried. In my previous life, when I got married, he did send an exceptionally generous gift, including houses, shops, and land. I thought at the time that the Duke of Zhengguo's manor was really wealthy. Our next connection was when I sold my medical clinic to him, and he took over its operation. At my first child's 1-year birthday banquet, he sent a gift, then left for the border and never returned to the capital, remaining unmarried for life. I wouldn't be so presumptuous as to think it was because of me. But every year, the Duke of Zhengguo's manor would send generous gifts whenever the Kui manor held a banquet. In my previous life, the Duke of Zhengguo's manor paved many steps on Kuishu's path to success. Ever since I accepted that jade pendant, I've been constantly receiving gifts from Xiao Jinyu. They're all just ordinary little trinkets. Nothing more to them. Sometimes food, sometimes jewelry. Before I could figure out his intentions, Princess Qingshuang sent me an invitation. The princess's birthday is coming up soon. Things are different from my previous life now. His Majesty apparently doesn't plan to arrange a marriage between the princess and Kuishu. I only found out later that Xiao Jinyu, who was far away suppressing bandits, had mentioned Kuishu in his memorial to the throne. A man who breaks his word, whose character still needs to be examined. Weak-willed, and it is uncertain whether he can be trusted. Someone like me, with no reputation, shouldn't be attending the princess's banquet. But constantly avoiding it isn't a solution either. Besides, I can't refuse the princess's invitation. Moreover, I clutched the jade pendant. In my past life, she ruined my face, so this time I have to return the favor somehow. In my past life, it was also at the princess's banquet that she openly slashed my face. She said, "I thought it was some stunning beauty who captured the top scholar's heart. But turns out you are nothing special. I hear your medical skills are exceptional, so let's see if you can heal yourself." After saying that, she had someone slash my left cheek with a blade. The sharp tip cut from my cheek down to my chin. A long scar. No matter how I treated it, it could never be restored to its original state. Though Kuishu felt sorry for me, he was helpless and just told me to endure it. He told me not to provoke her in the future. Later I heard that the princess was attacked in retaliation at the princess's residence. Also slashed on the side of her face, and even made to kneel in the ancestral hall for several days and nights. But whether this story was true or not, no one could say for sure. In any case, after that incident in my past life, I never saw the princess again. I sat at the very back of the banquet, listening to them discuss me, this uninvited guest. Her Highness the Princess actually graced her with an invitation. I heard this one is the fiancé of that new top scholar. What a pitiful thing. Who doesn't know the princess likes Kuishu? This is a warning to Kuishu, a cautionary message to Wen Xiangyi. I see most men in this world are fickle. Childhood affection, childhood sweethearts, none of it counts for anything. Shh! Keep your voice down. It is the princess's birthday, walls have ears. I found it amusing too. Kuishu's reputation was quite different from what I had imagined. Well, in my past life it was because he hadn't taken any concubines for years, unlike other men. Suddenly, during the banquet, I saw the princess whisper briefly to a maidservant beside her, and then someone accidentally spilled wine on me. My eyes met with the princess sitting on the platform for a moment, and I understood. So I followed the wine, serving maidservant to a back room to change clothes. Miss Wen, it is right here. Please change first, I'll step out. I nodded, watching her leave. After the door closed, I scanned the surroundings. Both the incense burning in the room and the bedding had problems. I kept my composure, didn't extinguish anything, covered my mouth with a handkerchief containing the antidote, and opened the cabinet. Inside was an unconscious Kuishu. Kuishu told you I'd give you what you wanted. But the form it takes, the methods used, that is for me to decide. Before long, I was already out the door, seeing several people outside the room. Is it done? It is done, Your Highness. She is already inside. Go call He Shangnan over. I blinked my eyes, hid in the shadows, and dragged away the maidservant beside the princess, covering them with a drugged cloth, and the two fell down. Before I could make a move on the princess, I saw a cold light flash by, and with a clink, Rong Shuang's earring fell to the ground. Then that person struck swiftly and knocked Rong Shuang unconscious. The sword chi was sharp and fierce, directly carving an extremely deep bloody mark on the left side of Rong Shuang's face that she was so proud of. I looked over, my eyelashes trembling slightly, couldn't help but gasp in shock. Lord Xiao? The leaping rhythm in my chest drummed at my eardrums. It was him. The only person who dared to humiliate the princess without being severely punished was Xiao Jinyu. He responded, and with his other hand threw a person who was tied up tightly onto the ground. Only then did I realize he had captured He Shangyan. Deal with this person however you want. I opened my mouth, not knowing what to say. Thank you. This is a bit awkward. After a little while, someone set a fire behind this room. So the people at the banquet all came over. In the crowd, I watched as Kuishu and the princess were exposed before everyone, caught in the scandal of their secret rendezvous. The noblewomen all turned their faces away. No one had expected to witness such a spectacle involving the princess at the princess's mansion. This is utterly improper, absolutely outrageous. Finally, summoning came to take control of the situation, and I left as well. Why did you still come to attend Rong Shuang's birthday banquet? The jade pendant I gave you could have allowed you to decline. Before even reaching the carriage, Xiao Jinyu's voice reached my ears. I looked over, momentarily stunned by his words. Xiao Jinyu was extremely good, looking with sharp brows and deep black eyes, clear facial lines, and an imposing bearing. He rarely smiled, which made him look quite intimidating. But his posture was upright, still wearing his official robes, travel, worn and dusty. Yet he didn't appear haggard or weak in the slightest, his entire being exuding an air of upright integrity. My lord, why did you also rush here to attend the princess's birthday? Specifically for the princess. Xiao Jinyu chuckled softly. Who I came for, don't you know? His being so direct was something I hadn't expected. All right, go back. I won't let you get dragged into today's matter. Qing Shuang's affairs. She'll bear the consequences herself. Xiao Jinyu looked at me. Miss Wen, those who have wronged you, I will make them all bear the consequences. I lowered my eyes, avoiding his gaze. Walking to the carriage, he very naturally offered his hand for me to board. I couldn't very well make things awkward for him. By the way, just as I pulled open the curtain, I turned my head back again. If next time you want to do something dangerous, you can call me to go with you. All right. Although the scandal of the princess's private rendezvous with the new top scholar was hushed up. But there are no walls in this world that don't let wind through. And this matter still spread like wildfire. His Majesty finally settled on bestowing marriage between Rong Shuang and Kuishu on a certain day. Before this happened, Kuishu was also sued by my family. Forgot to mention, my mom is a feisty woman. No one within 10 miles around can argue her. Me dad is a brute. Looks intimidating. Just standing there is enough to scare people. That day when I was nearly ruined by rumors, my parents stood guard at Fengshun Medical Hall, ready to scare or scold anyone who dared badmouth me. One scared them, the other cursed them out. Me little brother would join in when he had time, directly getting physical to teach them a lesson. Later, when they learned about the princess and Kuishu's scandalous affair, they went straight to the authorities and publicized how the princess bullied common folk and destroyed the medical hall. A few days after Kuishu's engagement, he came looking for me once. His expression was very flustered, and the words he said were also puzzling, as if afraid I'd misunderstand. Shang-Yi. That day I absolutely didn't mean it that way. I don't even know how the princess and I ended up in. He found it hard to speak, his brows tightly knitted. Don't know, I sneered. Kuishu, you won't even own up to what you did. I thought you just didn't keep your promises. But now you even make excuses and won't admit what you've done. You didn't marry me back then because you wanted to be with the princess, didn't you? So what are you pretending for now? Kuishu wanted to say something more, but was choked up by my words. He looked at my indifferent face, regarding his marriage to the princess. I hadn't shown the slightest bit of sadness on my face. Kuishu lowered his long lashes and said, Shang-Yi, do you not care about my marriage at all? I cut off what he was about to say. Kuishu, don't come looking for me anymore. There is nothing left for us to talk about. Whoever you want to be with, whoever you are with, it has nothing to do with me whatsoever. I didn't look at him again and turned to leave. Kuishu's fingertips hidden beneath his official robes trembled slightly. His eyelashes quivered faintly, and the hand he had reached out was drawn back. Xiao Tao saw more clearly than anyone that Kuishu cared about Miss. And even every decision he made, everything he did, he was hoping Miss would care and approve. But Xiao Tao hated this kind of Kuishu even more. Xiao Tao stepped forward with a smile and said, Lord Kui, this isn't really my place to say, but I am going to say it anyway. You know better than I what kind of person Miss is. She is decisive and intelligent. Since you two have broken things off, then don't come around saying such ambiguous things anymore. The Wen and Kiwi families are indeed still on good terms, but I think you also understand that you are the last person who should be seeking out Miss. Xiao Tao had grown up alongside Wen Shangyi. She had seen Kuishu in his down and out days, seen when Kuishu's eyes were full of tenderness looking at Miss, and even more so seen when Kuishu was happy receiving Miss's praise and encouragement. Recently, my family hasn't been restricting discussions about my marriage either. Since I came of age until now, my family has been thinking of preparing for my marriage to Kuishu directly, so they've rejected all the eligible men who wanted to come propose. This day, Xiao Jinyu actually came to the medical clinic to find me. He held a box in his hand. Inside was a gold and jade hairpin adorned with pink peach blossoms. Peach blossoms from the back courtyard drifted down, merging with the peach blossoms on the hairpin. Xiao Jinyu stood tall and elegant. Miss Wen, I heard you are planning to meet potential matches. I have feelings for you. If you are willing to, I'll go to the Wen family to propose right away. My eyes flickered, and I smiled. What if I am not willing? Then you'll marry someone else. No, then I'll wait until you marry and have children, and then I won't wait anymore. Xiao Jinyu's tone was very casual, saying this as if talking about what to eat today. Instead, I was the one stunned. In my past life, he left the capital during my first child's 1-year celebration and never came back. Xiao Jinyu, come to my house tomorrow to propose. His lips curved up slightly. What did you say? If you didn't hear, then forget it. I took the box away, turned around and smiled. Xiao Tao, see the guest out. Xiao Jinyu's voice came from behind me. Shang-Yi, I'll go tomorrow. I heard the princess's manner wasn't peaceful on the wedding day. Kuishu thought he was marrying the girl he'd been longing for, but never expected that Rong Shuang would directly say to have Mother Kui live outside. I bought your mother a house. What does it mean for someone like her to live in my residence? And those poor relatives of your family, haven't you seen their faces? Anyone can see they're here to mooch off relatives. I've investigated them. They kicked you and your mother out before, and yet you still want to treat them well. Quishu's family relations were complicated. His grandparents had several sons, and after his father died, he and his mother had even lower status in the family. But the imperial examinations emphasized filial piety, and the officialdom promoted the filially devoted. Our dynasty especially valued a son's devotion to his parents. So I often told him not to give anyone grounds for criticism. No matter how bad the relationship, he had to maintain appearances with his former family members. However, the Kui family had always been entangling and unreasonable. Even when I became the Kui family's matriarch in my previous life, I couldn't avoid squabbling with them. Later, I thoroughly understood each person, and without making things difficult for Kushu, grasped what each of them cared about most, which made them all obediently listen. Rong Shuang didn't consult with Quishu and drove the Kui family members out before the marriage. Moreover, she had Kui's mother settled in a garden estate on the outskirts. But the Kui family weren't pushovers either. They gathered as a group and stormed over to make a scene at the wedding. They pointed at Quishu and Rong Shuang's noses and cursed them for being unfilial, causing an absolute uproar. Now, when Quishu goes to court, people point and gossip about him, and even His Majesty reprimanded Shuang and didn't give Quishu a pleasant look in the court either. The next day, Xiao Tao came to tell me excitedly, Master Xiao came to propose marriage. The betrothal gifts totaled 128 carriers, filling up the entire courtyard, even overflowing it. Not even a prince marrying a consort would have such grand arrangements. Xiao Tao spoke with excitement, even gesturing animatedly. I was somewhat surprised, raising my eyebrows. That many did? He move his entire household over here? When I went over, Xiao Jinyu was already having a pleasant conversation with father and mother. He sure knows how to win over the elders. Usually such a serious person. I didn't expect him to talk this much today. I stood behind the screen. Father had told me before that Xiao Jinyu was a man of good character. My parents at home both wanted to come, but with too many people, they had me come first to ask uncle and aunt's opinion. Aunt's things are settled, father and mother will come to visit. My father laughed heartily. Although there is the saying about parental orders and matchmakers' arrangements, Xiang Yi's matter should still be decided by herself. If she agrees, her mother and I won't have any objections. My mother came in to ask my opinion, and I nodded with a smile. Mother was worried you'd be heartbroken over Quishu's matter. Now have you thought it through? This Xiao Jinyu is not from an ordinary family. What if? My mother's face showed sadness. I comforted her. Mother, your daughter is willing, and I've thought it through. Yesterday Xiao Jinyu came to ask for my opinion, and only today did he come to propose. Besides, he also helped me with the medical clinic matter before. My mother nodded. The betrothal gifts today were so generous. You can see how much he values you. As long as you've thought it through, that is fine. He is very capable himself, so he may not necessarily inherit the Duke of Zhengguo's title in the future. When that time comes and you enter the Xiao family, you'll be the lady of the house. It is just that mother won't be able to protect you then. And also, I knew what she was worried about. Men's hearts change easily. Don't look at how delighted he is with you now. In the future, 3 wives and 4 concubines could make him cast you aside. Even Quishu, who grew up with me since childhood, was like that, let alone the eldest son from the Duke of Zhengguo's household. Mother, I understand. After I marry into his family, he will be my husband. I know my situation clearly. Whether he treats me with mutual respect, or with deep affection in the future, either is fine. Right now he is a very good choice, and your daughter is also attracted to him. My mother felt relieved. Mother is reassured that you can have such an open-minded attitude. Whatever happens, your parents will be your support. If you are unhappy, just come home. I said with amusement. Mother, I haven't even married yet. When my mother went out, she said to Xiao Jinyu, Your Wen family accepts this marriage proposal. In an instant, I felt Xiao Jinyu look in my direction, his eyes pitch black, the depths slightly burning. But Sir Xiao, I am entrusting my daughter to you. I hope you'll treat her well. If any discord arises in the future, please allow her to return home. My mother's voice trembled and even choked up a bit, and my father's eyes also reddened. I don't know if in my previous life, my parents also held such a heavy heart when sending me off to marriage. I took a deep breath, barely steadying myself, the corners of my eyes turning red. I understand how you two elders feel. Any promise I make now doesn't count for much, and no one can say for sure what the future holds. But, Xiao Jinyu suddenly knelt down. Today I have come to seek the hand of the Wen family's daughter in marriage. I am deeply in love with her, so I have come to propose. My Xiao family clan has never practiced polygamy. He took out a piece of cloth from his pocket. This is a letter of promise I wrote by hand. In the future, if Miss Wen is dissatisfied, she can divorce me at any time. The Wen family's daughter divorcing the grand tutor. This was Xiao Jinyu's promise. He gave the initiative to me, gave me the right to divorce. My parents were somewhat astonished, the grand tutor kneeling before them, and giving such a promise. They held that cloth, looking at it again and again. Me parents hastily helped Xiao Jinyu up, saying with a smile, "Good, good." The news that Xiao Jinyu and I were getting married quickly spread throughout the capital. Before the wedding, cousin from the Xiao family did come to see me a few times. She invited me to go shopping together and told me about some matters of the Xiao family. Only then did I learn that although the Xiao family had many members, it wasn't complicated, sister-in-law. I thought cousin Jinyu wouldn't like anyone. You have no idea. He is practically a stern teacher, strict and merciless, intimidating. My cousin from the Xiao family and I were looking at clothes at Ting's pavilion, and she was complaining in my ear. But he is very proper and keeps himself clean. There is no one else by his side, or rather, no one can get close to him. She whispered sneakily in my ear, "No one dares get close to him." I lowered my head and smiled, the corners of my lips curving up slightly. As I turned around, the corner of my eye suddenly caught a familiar figure. Kuishu. He seemed like he wanted to come forward and say something, but someone appeared in front of me. Xiao Jinyu stood before me, reaching out to hand me some rouge. He said, "Bought it in passing?" "Cousin, hey, could you buy me a box in passing too?" I smiled and accepted it. Did Lord Xiao also happen to walk in to buy clothes? Xiao Jinyu raised an eyebrow. He leaned close to my ear and said, "Happened to buy it for you." His voice was low, and his eyes held a smile that wouldn't fade. What a convenient in passing. I smiled with pursed lips, and he followed behind me, helping carry my things. "Cousin?" Cousin muttered. "Xiao Jinyu, can you stop using me as an excuse to meet up with people every time?" Not far away, Kuishu's face was full of grief and pain, along with disbelief. He crushed the pastries in his hand that he'd meant to bring to Rong Shuang. The servant beside him reminded him, and only then did he come back to his senses. Kuishu recalled that in his previous life, when he went shopping with Wen Xiangyi, he had taken a liking to a hairpin and put it on her. And Wen Xiangyi had smiled at him, just like this. I didn't expect Kuishu to come find me before my wedding. At that time, Xiao Jinyu tapped on my window and brought me a bouquet of extremely beautiful flowers. In the dark night, he walked through the cold dew just to stand by my window and bring me a bouquet of freshly bloomed flowers. "I missed you, Xiangyi." I teased him for being hopeless. "Lord Xiao, where is your seriousness? How come you are so childish now?" Xiao Jinyu leaned his face against the window, and we talked through the window. "We're about to get married. I am so happy." I responded to him and asked, "Have you been drinking?" "I had a little." "A little? How much is a little?" "Xiao Jinyu? You are drunk. You need to go home now, understand? I am home. You are at my home." "How is that being home?" Shangyi, wherever you are is my home. I paused. Xiao Jinyu's been drinking. Is he this clingy? Saying anything and everything. The side of my face felt very hot. The candle lit indoors flickered, casting somewhat flustered and helpless shadows. Lord Xiao, it is very cold. Please go back, or else I'll have someone prepare a room for you. He didn't respond after a long while. I finally heard Xiao Jinyu's voice. Shangyi, we're about to get married, could you be a bit more affectionate with me? What do you mean affectionate? He became embarrassed, just the way you address me. A term of endearment. To be honest, I am not some inexperienced little girl anymore. But in my previous life, my romantic experience seemed pitifully scarce too. With Quishu, I only called him Quishu, Kushu. He never said anything about it either. He and I were used to this way of getting along. So used to it that I didn't realize this wasn't love at all. It was habit. My chest suddenly grew hot. An unfamiliar swelling sensation, radiating heat flooded my brain. My head felt a bit fuzzy. It is all Xiao Jinyu's fault. He gets so clingy after drinking. My mouth moved too quickly. Go back now, husband. The moment the words left my mouth, I froze, let alone Xiao Jinyu outside. He laughed softly, then said, Shangyi, I am not drunk. I hold my liquor very well. Stop talking, I don't want to know. Shangyi, I am going back now. Wait for me to come marry you. My face flushed red. How embarrassing. But before long, I heard the window being tapped lightly again. I instantly grew angry and threw open the window. You still haven't left, Shangyi? It is me. Seeing who it was, I immediately lowered the window, my voice turning cold. What are you doing here? Shangyi, Samanon like Xiao Jinyu will never treat you sincerely. Don't marry him, okay? I sneered. What gives you the right to meddle in my affairs? Quishu? Who do you think you are to me? Quishu lowered his head. You are right. You have no right to interfere. But I am truly worried about you. I am afraid you'll get hurt. Quishu, what makes you think you are doing this for my own good? You are the one who brings me harm. The farther you stay away from me, the safer I'll be. Don't you understand? All you bring me is disaster. Because you are weak and incompetent, I get bullied by the princess. Because you only think of yourself, I get bullied by your family. Because you are selfish, I get bullied by you. Quishu, all you bring me is pouring rain yet. You never hold an umbrella for me. You even make me endure it. When I said these words, my tone was very calm, but this was exactly what I had truly experienced in my previous life. I slowly let out a breath and said, Quishu, you've long forgotten why you pursued your scholarly achievements in the first place. All you think about is climbing the social ladder. All you remember is your path to success. You've forgotten your heart. In the previous life, Quishu's mind was full of nothing but his path to success. His official career, his damned political schemes and calculations. He had completely forgotten that in the beginning, Quishu only wanted to let his mother live a better life, to be worthy of me. Quishu stood by the window. This windowsill he couldn't even reach as a child now came up past half his body. He glanced at the vividly bright flowers in my hand, remembering how as a child, when he saw pretty flowers by the roadside, he would also bring them to me, deliver them to my window. Those flowers were planted in soil by me to be raised, made into flower wreaths by me. By me. I watched a tear fall from the corner of his eye, and I slowly said, Quishu, stay far away from me. Let's not make this too ugly. 1 second, our grand tutor is drunkenly begging for cuddles. The next second, that unlucky bastard Quishu jumps out to assert his presence. Belated affection is cheaper than grass. Last life, when the princess slashed the female lead's face, you told her to endure it. This life, when the female lead is happy, you come running to play what? Life mentor? What do you mean I am really worried about you? The one we should be most wary of is you. You selfish prick. Okay, fortunately, our queen Shangyi is wide awake. That face-to-face ultimate attack output was absolutely the best of the entire scene. Where's the broom? Hurry up and sweep him out. I feel like fate has suddenly started favoring me. I still go to the clinic to treat patients, and Xiao Jinyu is still a workaholic. Sometimes he gets sent on business trips, and before leaving he is always extremely reluctant to go. He often says all his thoughts are spent on you. It has to be fair, can't favor one over the other. I blush and say he is becoming more and more improper. Back to when he is home. I never knew Lord Xiao was someone who didn't want to go to work. Every time before morning court he acts spoiled, hugging me and unwilling to let go. Don't want to go to morning court. Lord Xiao, you are so clingy. He clings for a while, then finally gets up, and before leaving covers me with the blanket. If it is winter, then he hurries back after court, warms himself in the room, and if I am not up yet, he comes over again. When others ask why Lord Xiao is in such a rush, he smiles and says my wife misses me. She is eager for me to come home. I listen to these words in silence. One day I suddenly felt unwell, and only after taking my pulse did I learn. I was with child. My parents came over in a panic to see me, but I hadn't yet reacted. The Duke of Zhengguo's manor was also very anxious, carefully preparing my meals every day. Xiao Jinyu was even more exaggerated. When I was a few months along, he actually developed pregnancy symptoms. He vomited every single day, requested leave from His Majesty, and even His Majesty was left speechless. When I reached 5 or 6 months, he finally got better. During my pregnancy, my feet would swell, and he would remember to massage them every night. At night, I would involuntarily get cramps, and he would wake up startled and massage them away for me, watching the reactions I had from being pregnant. He was so heartbroken, he cried. In the later stage, I stopped going out. I only heard that Quishu actually requested to go to a small southern county, saying he wanted to go to the impoverished areas of the country to benefit the common people. After a huge fight with Rong Shuang, he still went. Before leaving, he did arrange for Madame Kui properly, and even sent me a letter. I didn't open that letter to read it, as Xiao Jinyu was already jealous beyond reason. I smiled and ultimately didn't open it to read. 3 months later, I gave birth to a son, but the day of delivery wasn't as difficult as in my previous life. But Xiao Jinyu was afraid, and unbeknownst to me, he went to Hanshan Temple in the dead of night to obtain a talisman, only praying for my safety. A few years later, I gave birth to a daughter. It was my wish. After I gave birth to our daughter, Xiao Jinyu actually drank a sterilization potion to prevent me from suffering again. Many years later, I looked at the peach tree at the medical clinic, still covered with fluttering peach blossoms. Xiao Jinyu said, we'd pick peaches to eat when summer comes. Our son and daughter beside us cheerfully said, yes. Oh right, Xiao Tao got married too. It was actually to Xiao Luoheng. Extra previous life from Xiao Jinyu's perspective. I fell for a girl, but she had someone she liked. I watched her protect that person, watched her sell off her beloved medical clinic, watched her open a shop to raise money and pave a path to success for that person. Me heart ached at her exhaustion, so I had someone buy the medical clinic, invest in her, and secretly clear all obstacles for her in my name. She truly was amazing. In such a short time she had her shops open all across the country. Later she got pregnant, said the pregnancy was especially rough. I asked and searched everyone around me, and in the capital for any way to make a pregnant woman more comfortable. I then sent over many medicines in the name of the Duke Zhengguo's manor. Right before she gave birth, my spy said she was really struggling, in unbearable pain. I heard Hanshan Temple was very efficacious, so I rushed there overnight, afraid heaven would say I was too greedy. I didn't dare pray for both mother and child's safety, only wished that she could be safe and sound. Fortunately, her health was good. People around her said she usually exercised too. Later, I left the capital, and everything I knew about her came from others' mouths and letters from secret agents. She and that man were truly loving, and they loved each other for a lifetime. Fortunately, she was happy for a lifetime. I watched the scenery beyond the frontier at the border, vast and boundless, which wasn't bad at all. Speaking of which, it really is laughable that I know, 28 years old, have actually come to like a woman this much. Later I came to understand that I am not a saint, nor am I someone particularly worthy of praise for being devoted. I just like her, that is all, and haven't yet met another woman I like more than her. I think I should meet someone eventually, right? But that girl's smiling face always lingers in my heart, impossible to shake off. Whenever others ask about the girl I care for, her voice always echoes in my ears. So I thought, let nature take its course, let me wait a bit more. But fate has yet to arrive. Or perhaps there is no fate for me in this life. And with this, wait, a lifetime has passed by unknowingly. Extraquishu's perspective. Who understands this? I am seriously going to cry in front of the screen. Turns out in the previous life it wasn't some big shot descending from heaven at all, but Xiao Jinyu's grand lifelong secret crush. It was him who bought the clinic, him who protected her in secret, him who sent medicine to keep her safe. When he went to Hanshan Temple to pray, he didn't even dare to greedily wish for the safety of mother and child, only praying for her alone to live. What do you call a top-tier pure love war god? In the previous life, Quishu went to Hanshan Temple to pray for an afterlife with the princess. But when Xiao Jinyu went to Hanshan Temple, it was only to pray for Wen Shangyi's safety in this life. To be able to be together with such an absolutely perfect man in this lifetime is truly wonderful. Vera declares that Lord Xiao is the ceiling of rebirth story male leads. My name is Quishu. I was born in a small village under Jiangling Commandery. My father was a shukai, but he read books his entire life and never managed to advance further. Me mother was just an ordinary woman, but she was reasonable and understanding. Our family was poor. Me grandfather and grandmother had quite a few children, thus forming a large household. When there are many children, they become less valuable. Moreover, we hadn't divided the household. Father wasn't valued, and the share our family needed to contribute to the larger household relied entirely on mother's labor. The poorer the family, the more conflicts there are. A needle, a piece of meat, a copper coin. Any of these could trigger conflict. My father, mother, and I were the ones blamed in the household. Until father passed away, and mother and I were driven out. We went to the county town, and life was hard for a while, but mother still insisted on letting me study. Later I worked as an assistant at Fengchun Medical Hall. It was Wen Shangyi who sent me there. She pitied me, said I was clever, said I was sensible. That was the first time I'd ever seen such a beautiful girl. My eyes stayed on her and I even forgot to blink. She asked if I was made of wood. She called me a blockhead. I followed behind her preparing medicine for her, running errands for her. Later Uncle Wen saw I could do arithmetic and write, so he let me follow him as an apprentice. Naturally, the wages were a bit better. Shangyi said I had to earn money. I needed to study. She would get Uncle Wen to let her go to school with him. Sure enough, not long after I had the chance to go to school, I went to school together with Shangyi. I hoped I could pass the civil exams. I could give mother and also Shangyi a better life. Year after year passed. I watched Shangyi grow from a naive child into a graceful young woman. On the day of her coming, Avage ceremony, the gift I gave her was a hairpin. When carving it, my heart and eyes were full of her, my chest flowing with a sweet feeling. That year, I ranked first in the imperial examination. I married Shangyi. The wedding night, the moment of success in the exams. I thought everything after would be smooth sailing, but didn't expect it would be going against the current. When did it start? I felt so tired. When the princess wanted to marry me, I really did feel very strange. What I thought of wasn't Shangyi. What I thought of was the carefree laughter when the princess came to find me at the Hanlin Academy. Shangyi asked me about the princess. I said, "The princess is of noble birth and exalted status. I am not worthy of her." Strange. How did I end up saying something like that? Shangyi froze, said nothing more, and never brought up this matter again after that. Later, my official career path became increasingly difficult. Shangyi worried herself sick over me, and I grew more and more anxious. I kept feeling that Shangyi was disappointed in me, but this self-blame turned into an obsession. I wondered, if I had become the princess consort back then, would my path to success have been smoother? I never thought I'd actually get to relive this life. But when the time really came, I still couldn't help but hover around Shangyi, delaying the matter of being with the princess. Just like that, pushing Shangyi away on one hand, while vaguely maintaining contact with the princess on the other. I actually ended up marrying Rong Shuangshuang. I thought Shangyi wouldn't become distant from me. She wasn't a heartless person, but I forgot that her kindness toward me was because she treated me as family. Now that we've severed ties, she'll withdraw her feelings faster than anyone. I watched as she married another step by step, her eyes full of smiles when she looked up, and that other person also never let her emotions fall into emptiness. He did better than me. From then on, I would only treat her as an older sister. Later, I listened to her words. I went to find my original aspirations. I went to the south, and the princess and I divorced. Once I settled down, I had mother come over. Only during holidays and when reporting for duty would I return to the capital to catch a distant glimpse of her. Me heart choked with words I dare not speak. This life I only wish for your happiness and well-being, elder sister. Phew! Finally finished reading it in one go. That was so satisfying, fam. This story really wrote, missing your chance means missing it forever to perfection. Quishu isn't a bad person, but he is too weak and too greedy, taking everything for granted out of habit. Look at our grand tutor Xiao on the other hand. Not only did he step down from his pedestal as an unattainable flower, he is totally a model of male virtue, even drinking the contraceptive tea himself. Who wouldn't be swooning over that? Now, although the story has wrapped up perfectly, this Vera's imagination just won't stop. If you could choose a follow-up extra, what plot would you most want to see? Hurry and cast your sacred vote in the comments. Maybe there'll even be bonus updates. Plot direction voting station. Which extra do you want to see? Ah, pure sugar daily life route. The Xiao family's child-rearing daily life. Want to see cold-faced grand tutor Xiao Jinyu transform into a daughter slave, getting jealous of his own children and acting all spoiled with Wen Xiangyi in this post. Marriage, sweet treat. Bickering lover's route. Xiao Tao's dramatic post-marriage life. How does Xiao Tao, this straightforward firecracker of a maid, end up in a chaotic love-after-marriage situation with the capital's #1 playboy, second young master, Xiao Xiao Luoheng? See past life regrets route. If he had stolen the bride in the previous life, what if in the previous life when Wen Shangyi was being tormented most miserably by the Kui family, and life itself, Xiao Jinyu hadn't chosen to silently watch over her, but instead directly and forcefully intervened, snatching her back to the Duke Zhengguo's manor. Sisters, which one would you vote for? Quickly post your choice in the comments Fae chat. Vera will vote for option A first.